Okay, now take a look at page 820. 820 is one of the, Parshas Korach is one of possibly the most telling insight into a certain nasty aspect of human nature, right? And Parshas Korach begins like this on page 820. Vayikach Korach ben Yitzhar ben Kas ben Levi, v'Dasan v'Aviram b'nei Eliyav v'on ben Peles b'nei Reuven. Korach goes along with two men named Dasan and Aviram, who are always the rabble-rousers and troublemakers that you find in Torah. B'nei Eliyav v'on ben Peles. There's a man named On ben Peles, and they are from the tribe of Reuven. So you got four people in cahoots over here. Korach, Dasan and Aviram, and On ben Peles. Troublemakers. So what do? Vayakumu lifnei Moshe va'anoshim b'bnei Yisrael chamishu masayim. They arise before Moshe with 250 men. Nesiei eda krei moed anshe Shem, men of very, very high stature and high position. What do? Vayikalu al Moshe ve'al Aaron. They gather against Moshe and Aaron. Vayomer aleim rav lachem. You've taken too much. Ki kol ha'eda kulam kedoshim. Everybody is holy. Uvesochem Hashem. Why do you lord yourself over the Jewish people? The entire people is holy. Everybody was at Har Sinai. Everybody received the Torah. Why did you hog the positions of honor? That's Korach's accusation against Moshe and Aaron. Moshe is the leader. Aaron is the Kohen Gadol. And why did you guys take the positions of honor? Now, there are 2 points over here which the commentaries point out right off the bat. Why does Korach do this right now? He's a rabble-rouser. And by the way, Korach exists in every synagogue you'll ever be in, every shul you'll ever go to, every community you ever go to, everywhere you go. Korach is not just one man. Korach is as relevant today as it was then. In every community, there's always going to be, you'll see that when you live, you probably have experienced it already if you've been in a college dormitory, not just with Jews. There's always that one person, and no matter what everybody wants to do, he's got a problem with it, right? Everybody's having a party. Turn off, it's too noisy for me tonight. This is the guy who lives with a megaphone, right? But all of a sudden tonight it's bothering him. All of a sudden he's bothered. Everybody wants to do something. There's always one negative. Then you get to religion and it gets even worse. Because in a shul, there's always one guy, the shul needs to build a new expansion wing. So there's one guy, no, we're not building that. And they're a bunch of bandits anyway, and who knows how much money the rabbi's taking. There's always one guy who's got it in for the rabbi. So Moshe Rabbeinu now is being confronted by Korach, being confronted by Dasan and Aviram, and he's confronted by On ben Peles. Now, do you know what the word Korach is his name? Do you know what else the word, if you took away the vowels, Korach could also be read as Kereach. Do you know what Kereach means in Hebrew? Bald. Korach means bald. Right? Korach means bald. Kereach. Why? What's that got to do with anything? The answer is the Gemara says there was a man who was married to 2 women. One was older and one was younger. The older one plucked out all the black hairs. The younger one plucked out all the gray hairs. The Gemara says he ended up, between the two of them, he ended up bald. That's what the Gemara says. That is used as an expression for somebody who's trying to do a little too much and he ended up with nothing. You ever been in that situation in life? Instead of, you couldn't make this, should I go for this? Well, I want to get that also. You try for both and you end up with neither. So the expression is used, Kereach mikanu mikan. Because of that Gemara, you ended up bald. You ended up, that's not what happened to me, by the way. I only have one wife. But you ended up, now why are you laughing? You ended up with absolutely nothing. You tried, you grabbed, what's it called? You took out, what's it called? You bit off too much, more than you could chew. That's all the same idea, where sometimes you can't make the decision. You go this way, you go that, and you end up with nothing. Korach, you know where Korach's position was in the Jewish people? Korach he was one of the Levites who carried the Holy Ark. So he's a man of very high position, and Korach was considered the richest Jew in history. When the Jewish people left Egypt, remember they left with treasures? The Medrash says he had 300 donkeys loaded with sacks of keys to his treasure houses. To his treasure storage, It's an exaggerated way of telling us he was loaded. We even use the expression nowadays, Ashir Korach. We want to talk about somebody who's rich. He was as rich as Korach. Okay, in the 20th century we talk about, he was, right, what do you call it? There you go. It's a Yiddish expression. He is as rich as Korach. Nowadays as rich as Bill Gates, okay. But it's all the same. So you're talking about a man, now pay attention carefully. You're talking about a man who was fabulously wealthy, a man who had more honor than anybody in the Jewish people, except for Moshe and Aaron. He had more honor, that tremendous honor. He's one of the handful of people who carried the Aron Kodesh. And Korach is not satisfied with what he has. There's one other man in history we find like this. Do you know who it is? Not Jewish. One other man in history. Haman. Haman was fabulously wealthy. Haman was the vice president of the world. Right? He was the viceroy of the world. There's one man above him is Paro. And one little thing is throwing him off. He can't live because there's one lousy stinking Jew who won't bow down to him. Haman can't sleep at night. He got everything. What are you even paying attention to him for? That one Jew, that one thing bothers him. This is a little classic lesson in life. Your joy, your happiness, your satisfaction has nothing to do with what you've accumulated. It has to do with your attitude. If something's going to bother, have you ever been to a picnic? You go to a picnic and they bring what do you call it? You got pastrami and salami and corned beef and you have meat and you got wings. You got everything at the picnic. You got drinks and you got cake and you got everything in the world. There's always one guy standing there saying, didn't anybody bring the mustard? Nobody brought the mustard? I'm missing the mustard? And all day long, that's all you're going to hear about, right? Every beast, every kosher beast known to man has made the supreme sacrifice and is on your grill, right? And this guy is still hawking, boy, I wish we would have had that mustard, you know? How was the steak? How was the steak, Chaim? It was okay, but, you know, I got that mustard, you know? He never won't get past it. He goes to counseling now, right? The guy's what do you call it? He can't handle it because they were. It's an attitude in life. You have a person, everything is wonderful, everything is terrific, everything is right. It's going well. Objectively, somebody from the outside would look at you and say, you're out of your mind. You're absolutely out of your mind. You held no satisfaction until you get. By the way, that's what happens with political candidates. I don't want to get into the politics, but you could be at a very high position. What's his name from Illinois? When you mentioned the governor, right? What was it? How do you pronounce it? Blagojevich. So Blagojevich, they had him on record as saying, there's a governor of Illinois. Governors live in mansions. There are only 50 of them in the country. I could get used to that. Blagojevich was on record of saying to somebody, how long do you think I'm going to be stuck? I want to be stuck in this job for. You're stuck, huh? Oh, you're stuck in a job. You're stuck being governor in a mansion? Why don't you talk to some truckers, right? They might be willing to trade with you. You know, how long am I going to be stuck? Talk to some dock workers. How long am I going to be stuck in this job? That means once you're there, the illusion of the satisfaction it would provide isn't there. Once you're there, you're looking for the next thing, unless you train yourself to be satisfied. And if you do train yourself to be satisfied, you'll be satisfied with whatever you have. And if you're not satisfied, you're always going to be miserable. That's a Korach. That's a person who's suffering from severe Korachitis. That's point number one.